done. Now we start in the Middle East this hour, where as the tension between Hamas and Israel boils over following the ceasefire agreed in Egypt last month, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has now alleged that Hamas have sent Israel remains of a person whose body has already been recovered by the IDF earlier. Netanyahu has claimed that Hamas have knowingly tried to mislead Israel and that this constitutes a violation of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The militant group has said it was complying with the ceasefire and doing its best to locate hostage remains, but was hindered by lack of equipment to identify bodies. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that he will huddle with his defense chiefs to decide on the next steps soon. Israel's Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich and National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir have both called on Netanyahu to take tough action against Hamas. We're now joined by Mati Zweig. He is a geopolitical expert and he joins us live from Israel. Mati, what are the options following these claims from Israel that the hostage returned has in fact already been returned and it is a violation of the ceasefire?
Well, hello, Thomas. I think that now the world has more and more clear that you have one part that has been fulfilling every point of the agreement, which is Israel, that redeployed the forces to what is called now a yellow line, and also gave back all what promises, all the prisoners, the whole quantity of prisoners. Israel didn't hold 1,000 and give another 1,000 and say, if you don't give me, they gave everything, thinking that the Hamas is in their interest to give back everybody. So they gave, yes, the alive ones, and also a little part of the deceased ones, but this is not what we were talking about. They know, and we have witnesses, because the people that is alive themselves from these last 20 and also from previous agreements, they know that Hamas exactly knows, and they have a lot of months to recollect bodies and to put them in every place. And they were very meticulous in this because they know they are the cards that they have in their hands to hold until there is an agreement. So maybe if you tell me there is one or two or three that they think they are in certain areas or under the rubble, etc., most of the deceased ones, they know what they are and they are just lying. Why they are lying? Because they want to hold more time and going to see if they are going to expand their grip in all the areas that the IDF went out, and they can have the power again, seeing that even Trump at the beginning, he say, let them order between themselves. And now he's, all the advisors say, Trump, that this is not going to work in this way. Phase 2 is not going to start if they are not going to give all the deceased Israelis that they have in their holding, or most of them.
Now, Mati, of course, one of Israel's objectives of this war was to destroy Hamas after October the 7th. Of course, this has not been done. However, much of the Israeli public support an end to this war. Those who don't, of course, are that of some of Netanyahu's cabinet. Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir have both been vocal, have raised their vocal opposition to the ceasefire. However, another sticking point here is the remains of hostages that can't be located. 12 more hostages remain inside the Gaza Strip. How much pressure is Netanyahu under from said hostages' families that could push him towards a riskier military approach here?
In all the last 2 years, not only in the last 2 months, there were a lot of pressure from all the families of the alive and deceased hostages, and also from the entire society. I mean, not 100%, of course, but like 70% of everybody in all the surveys and also in the streets and also with giant manifestations, they were pushing, make a deal so everybody will come back and then we'll deal in the future with Hamas. Other things were having decisions in the government, especially from the pressure of the extremist ministers. It doesn't mean that the people is against destroying Hamas, because even Palestinians understand that Hamas is only an obstacle for peace. And there are other forces inside the Palestinian camp that can fulfill the place. So now what is going on is every day that Hamas doesn't give back most of the remains of the deceased bodies, is a good excuse for the extremist minister to push for another round, to say they are not fulfilling, go out with the army and try to conquer what you didn't conquer before.
Yes, Matty Zaweg, do stay with us as we have further updates coming